we are alive to witness this beautiful Monday in the 11th month, the month of November in 2015. Of course, as the Lord has started this year with us, He will end the year well with us by His grace. And I pray that as many out there believing God for something special that will make you happy, the Lord will answer your prayers in the mighty name of Jesus. My name is Tunde Babalola. Of course, is marriage and relationship matters tonight. And in the studio with me is no other person, my co-presenter or co-host, EUNICE ORJI. EUNICE, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How was work today?
We give glory to God.
Well, we've decided to make tonight a special night, so we have a special guest in the studio with us tonight, and then it's not a person, but Doyin Olatunji. Doyin Olatunji is a law practitioner. She's based in Lagos, and then she's the senior partner and managing partner at the firm of Norman Partners. She's well, our area of core assignment is family law, and then with special focus on marriage. Doyin, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
How is everything?
Very fine.
It is well with you.
Amen.
Well, tonight we are going to be discussing a major topic, which says, is it normal, is it right for husband and wife to have the same joint account or to hold properties together? EUNICE, what's your take on this?
My belief is that as long as God has joined them together, or they have joined themselves together with the signature of God put on them, everything should be shared. They own themselves, they own their bodies, they own their properties, they are one. So what A owns also belongs to B. And what B owns belongs to A.
Doyin, what do you think about this as a lawyer? Let's look at it from the legal aspect. Is it normal, is it right for the husband and the wife to own properties together, or to open an account, or what we say joint account, to hold a joint account together?
Thank you. I listened to Sister EUNICE. I think she's opining on the angle of the Christian marriage. Right. I'm here to actually give exposition on how the law says marriage. It is not in the light of two persons coming together to own or share one thing or the other in common. But I know that marriage, before in the eyes of the law, is a union between a man and a woman. It's a union between two parties, one being the man and the other being the woman. Now, because of intricacies, because of the unique nature of man, the man would not see them as two minds operating as one. There is nothing wrong in having a joint account if they so agree, but they must have to agree. It is not mandatory, it is not compulsory that they have to have or own a joint account, but if they agree to have a joint account, it is fine. So if anything crops up, everything as contained in the agreement is what the law is going to look at. But the fact that you're married to A or you're married to B does not make you automatically a joint owner of an account. But I'll give an instance. I mean, there was a case I represented in, and the woman insisted that the account owned by the husband belongs to her because they are married. She could not substantiate. There was no proof, there was no fact to suggest to court that the account is jointly owned, and she was thrown off. There was no evidence, there was nothing documented to say that, yes, you're putting money in the same account. And if you look at it, joint means two persons or more coming together.
That's right.
Now, when it involves, anything whatsoever that involves two or three coming together must be documented, must be agreed upon, must be conducted or formed in a deed like. Okay, I am the husband, monthly I pledge, or I'm going to drop this amount into this account. What comes from you? Now, what is the basis? What are we opening this joint account for? Is it in lieu of owning a house in the future? For how long is this house coming into reality? Should we stop it at a particular time, or do we come? There must be a reason. There must be something that wants to propel the joint account. It's not going to endure forever. But if at all they want it to be forever, then there still has to be an agreement as to what A drops and what B drops. It's not automatic.
Okay.
It is not automatic.
How about properties, you know?
Yes, properties, fine. Basically, let us look at it. We take it one by one. When you are in a marriage, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, if your marriage is conducted under the statutory act, if it is a statutory marriage, there are some elements, there are some ingredients that are to be, infused into it.
Okay.
Now, if you get married under the Marriage Act, there is something we call the matrimonial home.
Okay.
The matrimonial home is the place where the husband and the wife must agree to live and abide in. Now, the man cannot bring another woman into that house, because under the law, it is recognized as a matrimonial home. There is always conflict in the Nigerian context.
Okay.
For instance, some people will conduct marriage, for instance, in a village, then return back to Lagos and say, well, this is where we reside. Also, I've been privileged to witness a matter like that in court. And the man ended up saying that, no, the house at so place is the matrimonial home, because that is where the marriage was conducted. The woman insisted and said, no, I've been living in Lagos with you all along. But we dug into it, and the law will dictate the pipe. The tune comes from the law. So at the end of the day, the man was able to throw the woman to the corner that he wanted to push her by saying, no, the Ekiti home is a man, because Ekiti home is still there. He had the house at the time of marriage. That was where they, returned to after marriage. Okay. That was the address given at the registry. Okay. So that house was noted as a matrimonial home. And what was the issue? The man wanted to sell the house. Now you mentioned property. Yeah. The man wanted to dispose the property in Lagos.
Okay.
And the woman said, no, we own it together. So there is always the issue of who owns this and that. The man said, no, it is my house. I am not disputing the fact that you're my wife, but this is my house, and this is not the way I want it to be. So the woman went to court.
Okay.
The woman went to court. But this is the thing. If you're married under the statutory act, under the Marriage Act, you can't sue yourself, because both of you are seen as one. You see the complexity. You cannot take your husband to court, or the husband cannot take the wife to court in a subsisting marriage. So we countered. We just went against the woman and said, well, what are you doing? You cannot sue a part of you. The man before the state is part of you. You're seen as one. It is either you're asking for a dissolution. Okay. Right? And but she just, she's in court because she wants to claim part of what she thought was as being married to the man.
Let me come in here, because this issue is a major problem that marriages have.
Okay.
Now, the man has a house that they started with, called the matrimonial home from somewhere, and he now advanced in the marriage and got another house.
Okay.
For instance, as a layman, I will look at it that it's still within the marriage that the man got that property, and a wife should have a share. You understand? Of the property.
That's right.
Okay, for instance, let's assume the man passes. What happens?
Well, you're saying if a man dies intestate.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the wife, if you're the legal wife, when I say legal wife, it's not wife by any other means. The state has a record. It's recorded at the marriage registry that you're the wife. He died intestate. You apply you make an application to probate.
Okay.
You're the wife. As long as you're the legal wife, and suddenly the man passed away intestate without a will, there's no testament to state that this is how I want my estate to be, you can apply to the probate.
Okay. Okay. The wife is alive, the man is alive, and this kind of issue crops up.
Okay.
And the man wants to sell the property. Does it mean that as an individual, the man is dealing with the marriage as, okay, I'm buying this under my own name, not involving the husband, the wife? Because that argument, for instance, the man says, this is my house and I have a right to do so. What right does a woman have in such a situation?
You see, I would like to say this. We have the Marriage Act. There are no, as long as both of you are before the law, you're one. The only thing that can make or entitle either party to substantiate their claims are proof, just like any other aspect of law. You don't claim in abstract, you don't claim in the air. If you're a wife and you need to prove or establish the fact that, yes, you own this jointly together with your husband, you must be able to substantiate that. Now, there is something we have, the Married Women Properties Act, which further entitles or permits women to either own their own properties separately or have it jointly with their husband. Initially, this thing was on, the women were feeling sublime, they were feeling cheated, that look, this marriage thing, once it comes up, we tend not to own things by how. So women came up in England. It was before the Parliament, and it was decided thereupon. There was, I can't remember the name now, but there was a particular powerful person, lady, who was in court and felt, what? Just like that? So, if I own an eraser, as long as I got it within this marriage, I have no claim to it. Is this going to continue? Is this how we want to continue to see this thing called union? And she took some women up, and they came together, and the Parliament, it was approved. From then, the rights, that came upon women in marriage got strengthened. Now you have to be wise as a woman. This is all, but it's more scientific, let me say. Why I say scientific in that facts and proven facts. Facts on the side that what are the things that the law require and what are the proven facts that I need to do. These are the issues, and this is how I want to establish that I have a stake in this. Now, if your husband says, oh, we're building a house, and you say, as a wife, I want to be part of it, what is the cost of the house? Then the husband says it's going to cost us 5,000 naira. Okay, monthly, I'm going to be dropping 500 naira. No matter how small it is, that man has nothing to do. But the matrimonial home is a place that cannot be disposed. You can't dispose of your matrimonial home. This is always coming up as an issue. You can't dispose it of. The woman has a say over it. But you see, what I have experienced or seen in practices or heard in practice is that mostly Nigerian men, I'm sorry to have to say that they are always very smart. If a marriage, what I would say is every woman needs to open their mind's eyes and try to enlighten themselves before they go into what we call marriage in law. Marriage is not just a fun. It involves two minds groomed under different parents with different orientation. So if a man goes into marriage with the fact that, look, I never want this woman to have an upper hand, you are not going anywhere. But if you discussed it within yourself, this is where the English is different from the African. They agree from the onset that, okay, every month we're going to be dropping this into this account. And this is why an English woman will tell you, no, we're not doing that. They will say it together.
Okay.
We have not budgeted for that. We're not going into that now. We want to get our fridge, and that's what we're going to do. We're not going to allow you in now because that will affect our budget. So that money is dropped into that particular account, which is jointly owned. They may later quit the account. It depends on how they plan and what they want to do with it. But I know that the law does not permit it. You cannot dispose of the matrimonial home. But where a man can establish that, no, this is not the matrimonial home, after the marriage, we moved, you know, maybe for civilization, maybe for whatever reason, the area was no longer conducive for it, we moved to Lagos. The man succeeded. The woman said he cannot dispose, but the man said it is built by me. And the wife said, no, we're married together. We're together in this marriage, so you can't just decide that you're disposing this house. But
So,
she lost. She lost on the note that the matrimonial home is
okay.
the
What
other
do you
part of.
call where they now moved and started living? What do you call that space?
You see, this is the thing. It is an accommodation housing of them. It is. It's just the matrimonial home is specified.
So this is where they say the law is an ass.
Hey, well, you can say that.
Exactly.
But what I'm trying to say is, if your matrimonial, because the house is still there, the house that he taught is the village home, so to speak, in quotes, the way they put it in Nigeria, now happen in the eyes of law to be the matrimonial home, because they actually live there.
Okay.
Do you understand? But what I was unable to establish from that matter was where that the man had that mind of actually deceiving them. You cannot decide that, but that's the facts that they got out to the
One more question.
Yeah.
In a situation where the man says the woman shouldn't do anything, she should just be a housewife.
Full housewife.
A full housewife. What happens?
What happens there?
Well, I think that's a matter. It's a decision between the man and the woman. It should have been decided. I think such things need to be sorted out before coming into the institution. Yes, before coming into the marital union. You don't force. If a man, issues will come up when you have a bubbling heart, you have a bubbling mind. You're not a woman that can be caged. You're not one that is not driven. You're one that is driven by passion over certain calls or causes, and then you got into marriage, and you can go on and establish and say, well, you never agreed to be a servile wife. You have your dreams, you have your purpose, you have your passion, and you want to champion them, you want to channel them towards achievement. They usually stem. I've had a man who says, no, never. It's not a culture with my family. Women that we marry don't walk. And the father came up and said, no, you cannot. It's my daughter. She must walk. Why did I send her to school? Why did I train her? And they went to college. These are little things that result into dissolution.
Can you differentiate quickly between the court marriage and the church marriage?
Beautiful. The court marriage, I don't know what you mean by court marriage. Do you mean?
What I'm trying to say is that the importance of the two.
Between the English law?
Between the court marriage, we call it court marriage in this part of the world.
Okay.
And then the church marriage, because when you go to court, let's say registry now, you are given a certificate, that is probably legally binding. And you go to church, you are equally given a certificate. And so many have made these mistakes, getting married in church without the law backing the marriage up, and the man along the line plays game with the woman, and probably after taking the juice of the woman and sees another woman that want to move on, and then the other woman is now vulnerable, can't do anything. What do you think can be done in this case?
If I understand you well, you want the difference between the statutory marriage and a church marriage. In a simple manner, the church marriage is not necessarily a marriage under the Act. It's as simple.
So many are crazy about the church marriage.
The church marriage is not necessarily a marriage under the Act. That's just the answer. And if you ask me what Act I'm talking about the Marriage Act. The church marriage has no state backing. The difference between the church marriage and the statutory marriage is simply just that. The church marriage is not recognized by the state. You can group it under social, you can group it under celebration, you can just group it under, but it does not even pass for the customary. You see, under the Nigerian legal system, we have the English marriage and we have the customary. The customary marriage is the one conducted according to customary right of that particular place or where you belong, or whatever state or tribe you're coming from.
Okay.
So if you like, take it before the Pope of the Catholic Church, the marriage is not binding under English law.
Well, we have to throw the lines open. It's becoming more interesting, and it looks as if the time should just, you know. So, well, we've been talking on why should a man and a wife have a joint account or build a house or have properties together, and of course you have had the Doyin Olatunji there speaking from the legal aspect, you know. You want to probably contribute or ask us questions, well, the number to dial is 0129111031. You have to be fast and be brief because we don't really have much time. The second line to call, or number to call, is 0129344335, 0129111031, or 0129344335. And there is a program coming on the 28th of this month. Of course, Doyin will be there. She's one of the facilitators on that day. And it's coming up at the Heavens Royal Hotel at Lekki, 7 Agogi Road, Lekki. Okay, we have a caller already. Hello, good evening. Oh, we lost that. The program is coming up on the 28th, and the theme of the program is Way Out of Marital Stress, Marital and Relationship Stress. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I'm calling from Lagos. My name is Olatunji.
Okay, Olatunji, how are you?
I'm fine.
Please, you have to be brief with either your contribution or your question.
I want to quickly clarify that church marriage could also be married under the Act because some churches are licensed by the marriage registry to conduct marriages under the Act. So where a church has a license of the marriage registry, the marriage conducted in the church is the marriage under the Act. That's the marriage registry.
Okay. I don't know, what do you have to say concerning that?
What was the caller's name?
Laolu from Lagos.
Laolu, if I get you right, you're trying to clarify between marriages conducted in churches as compared with the statutory marriage. The statutory marriage is not concerned about church marriages. Before the law, the marriages conducted in church are seen as just receiving religious blessings. That's the way the law says it. Now, if you want state protection to be upon your marriage, I advise that you get the marriage registered at the court registry, because if you look at it, it involves parties. The parties to it are parties to a social contract, which is marriage, and the two of you are coming together for that to raise a family. The law is more concerned about that family you are likely stemming up. So when you want to conduct a marriage and you want state protection, just conduct it at the registry. Although I'm aware that some churches now insist that you get it registered, you go to the marriage registry before coming to church. That further backs up the fact that it is mainly about receiving blessings. Nobody will condemn anybody getting blessings. After all, we all get blessings from our parents, even without the church. So it is just merely about blessings by ordained ministers
or
of the church
of God. All right,
that's just the difference.
Okay, well, we still have a little time here. You still want to put a call through? The number is 0129111031 or 0129344335. The program that is coming up on the 28th of this month, you have to register, and the numbers to register your name with, I will simply call those numbers now: 08090679007 or 080232139 81. Send your names to us and your email so that we can register you for the program. We only have seats for 100 people, and the first 20 to come will receive a gift on that day. Doyin, there are some cases that I have heard of that some people, cohabiting, you understand, and they were not, nothing is backing them up, no church and no law. But along the line, something happened. Probably the man dies. What do you think?
There are some cases where the custom presumes a marriage. There is, in the beauty of the law is that we have presumption of facts.
Okay.
It can be acceptable, especially if the custom of that area permits whatever had transpired. Under customary marriage, what is expected is not as much as what is expected from the statutory marriage. If a man took a woman in an area that is known under the law to practice such, the look and weigh the circumstance guarding the marriage, it can be inferred. There is something we call presumption. It can be presumed that yes, there was marriage between the man and the customary law will take care of that.
Okay.
The way of division of the way of sharing whatever, the way of distribution of estate as concerns that native law and custom will apply. If it says that nothing goes to the woman, too bad. I hope you get me. If the custom permits that or dictates that the woman remains or abide in the family, it's her fate. She has to abide. The Nigerian legal system does not frown. He's not against customary law. He can allow, but one aspect of it that may not be so palatable is the fact that the man can take as much as one. This guy, he can have more than one woman. You can't frown at it if it is, because an average African man is potential polygamous by nature. This is the truth. The Nigerian legal system and Africa generally knows the fact that an average African man is a potential polygamous man by nature. So when he does that, the community comes together to speak to the woman and say, well, you have a child, you have this, you have that. We're going to take whatever the man has accrued because these children are still going to school. It depends on the custom of that particular place, whether Yoruba, whether Igbo, whether Efik, whether whatever, So it depends. That is another thing. But if that man had converted the native marriage, if steps had been taken by the man to convert the native marriage to a statutory, is another thing entirely.
Well, Doyin, I have to stop you there because our time is fast spent.
Before you stop her,
okay.
Let's hit her with one more.
All right.
Is that why
we have to bring her back? I think that's what we have to do.
she has to come back?
She has to come
Anyway,
back.
if you want to hear more of this, I think you should just register and meet us at Agungi.
Yes,
because
on the
we'll
28th.
have more time.
We have more time to deal with questions and so many other issues.
She's going to be there live.
Yes, our time is fast spent. Well, come on the 28th, Way Out of Marital and Relationship Stress, Saturday, 28 November 2015. You want to register, just send us a text message on 080-90679007 or 080-23213981. Register with your name and your email, and then we will get back to you. Well, it looks as if we should not stop, but we have to stop. Well, by the grace of God, come next Monday, we'll see you again. God bless. Thank you very much.
Good night, people.
Good night.
Good night. Yes, nice.